5.5 years. I progressed, got promoted, finished all my exams and everything.
All the stuff we're supposed to do.
Yeah, exactly. I ticked all the boxes, followed the plan, and then I was like, gosh, this is boring.
Hello and welcome to the Slightly Off Plan podcast. My name is Jillian, your host, and today I sit down with my fellow ComediAsians teammate Sheila. In this episode, we talk about how our Asian parents didn't want us going into creative fields, how she quit her accounting job to travel, and even if you tick the right boxes, you might not be happy. I hope you enjoy this episode.
Hi!
Hi!
Welcome!
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. So yeah, let's start with how we know each other, which is ComediAsians! That was so improv of us. That was so improv of us. Like, being like, and then saying it at the same time. I imagine the marketing department at ComediAsians might use this for marketing stuff. Come to our next show.
Yes.
The dates are below. And they could just reuse this material.
Oh, yeah, why not?
For all of our marketing needs.
Yeah, we can re-record too.
How long have you been doing improv?
Since last year, so a year. Yeah, I started with a beginner's hoopla class last summer.
Oh.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. And then I went through all the levels. I think I was doing level 3 when I did the audition for ComediAsians.
No way.
Do you remember the day we met?
At the audition?
But do you remember what happened at the audition?
Oh gosh, I don't.
So I turned up early, another girl turned up early, and we didn't know where we were going. So we went through the Miller, and we bumped into you with your signature Blasian t-shirt. And you're like, oh, we're not ready yet. Just wait here. I'll come back and get you. And you never came back.
Oh my god!
So we were like, I'm sure it's about to start. We should wander upstairs. And we were the last people to get name tags and photos.
I'm so sorry. That's a very Jillian story. And I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Hey,
I made the cut.
You made the team. You made the team.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't remember that. But I'm sure in the moment I was like, I'll remember. I'm gonna remember, and I'm gonna go down, and I'm gonna tell them to come back upstairs. I'm so sorry. Wow, and you've been holding that in this entire time.
I know, I waited for the camera to start rolling.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Well, you made the team. And that's so cool because like you're new to improv.
Yeah.
And you made a team. That's a big deal.
And I only turned up because I saw on Instagram, are you Asian? Do you identify as female? And I was like, yes, okay.
I am an Asian woman.
So yeah, it was just on a whim, my first ever audition.
Wow, that's really awesome. ComediAsians is my second audition, but I had been doing improv maybe a little bit longer. Okay. And I had already had some team experience at that point. But the audition that you went to, we had so many people.
There were so many
people. So many women specifically, because it was we were looking for people who identified as women. Because up until that round of auditions, our team was very heavily male. And everyone was like, yeah, we need
balance the ratio.
Balance, yeah. And yeah, to Steven's credit, he really spearheaded that whole thing, getting more women in, setting up that audition. When I auditioned for ComediAsians, I don't think I thought I was gonna make the team.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was just kind of it was at the point in my kind of improv career, I guess, where I was like, okay, I've taken the courses, I'm on this house team. But yeah, at the time I was still very new to being on a team.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what that meant.
at my audition, they went round the circle and like, what's your like improv experience? And people were like, I've done it for 5 years.
Yeah.
Whatever, how many years? And it got to me, I was like, I started a few months ago.
No,
Yeah.
that's incredible. I mean, you rocked your audition, obviously. Because we really like cut it down. We were just like, no, we want the team to be strong. And so we want strong improvisers. So yeah, the fact that you're like just a year in or just over a year in is really cool. How did you start improv? Like
What prompted it?
Yeah, at age 35, why did you go, I'm going to take a, level 1 improv course?
So I guess this kind of fits in with the reel you posted yesterday about trying new hobbies and things.
Oh, yeah.
So I love singing, and I was doing a beginner's singing class at City Academy last sort of, I think the beginning of 2023, and I met this girl, Sophie, and she was like, oh, come to this improv class. And I was like, I don't know, what is improv? She's like, just come, you'll have fun. So I turned up, and I sat in this circle like, why are you here? Oh, Sophie told me to. But then from that point on, I just loved it, and I kept like going to more and more classes. I have spent so much money on classes.
Yeah.
And I still am.
Yeah. Oh, are you in a course now?
Yes. I am doing the Culture Flow one with Ty.
Nice. Yeah, shout out to Ty.
Hi,
Ty. Did that start already?
Yeah, we've done a couple of weeks now. Yeah.
Yay! I did the first one.
Yeah.
So the first like iteration of it. I went to that and I loved it. Learned so much. He's genius. Like his like ability to break down comedy into like a very simple, easy to follow formula. I say easy to follow. I feel like I don't do it, but I try to. You got the bug.
I've got the bug.
And
I start another one in a couple of weeks. Well, at the end of the month. It might be next week or the week after. I can't remember.
Which one is it?
The singing one.
You're doing musical improv?
Yeah, it's the one at Hoopla, the level 5 one.
Oh,
yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I feel like you're going to be so good at musical improv. I mean, I've never heard you sing, but if you can sing and you like singing,
we'll go karaoke sometime.
And
it'll be fine. You'll figure it out.
Listen, I'm Filipino, okay? I'm not a good singer, but I love karaoke. So yeah, that's the one thing that we haven't done yet as ComediAsians. We haven't had a karaoke night, which I feel like
you need to have a karaoke night.
I feel like as a group of Asian people, that is wrong. How have we not done karaoke together? I feel like everyone thinks that they're funny, but like until you hear other people laughing at things that you do, you're I don't know.
You need that validation.
Oh my god. That's the thing with comedians, right? Is like every time someone laughs at something that I say, I'm like filled with like like power. I'm like, yeah, laugh at my jokes. And then when people don't laugh, it's like the worst.
Yeah, you're like, oh, it was an off day.
Yeah. Do you want to do anything else within comedy, or are you kind of just like, this is nice, I'll enjoy improv for now?
I did dabble with stand-up in the sense that I did the Hoopla stand-up course. But then as soon as I finished that, I was like, I'm not sure if I can do this again. So a lot of people from that course, they went away and did a bunch of open mics and things, and they're like properly doing the circuit. And I can't even get myself in the headspace to do one because it's just so daunting. Because you don't have your team there, you're completely on your own, and you have to memorize your jokes, and I can't remember stuff. So I think when we did the show at the end of the course, I was like, I said my name, and I was like, crap, what happens next? But yeah. Dude,
stand-up is no joke. So I interviewed on Monday. I interviewed a stand-up named Boss who I met at to do the right scene night. And it's so funny talking to stand-ups because there is like a very clear divide on, I mean, not everyone, obviously. There's a lot of crossover, but like there's a lot of stand-ups who are like, I could not do improv. And then there's a lot of improv people who are just like, I can't do stand-up. Like, I don't know how, like, both people are always like, I don't know how you're doing that. That wasn't Boss. Boss was more like, oh, like, I like improv. Like, she'll dabble in both kind of thing. But she's a stand-up. She loves stand-up. But yeah, there have been like a few stand-ups who I've met at our ComediAsians nights, and they're just like, I could not do improv. Like, how do you make stuff up? And I'm like, that feels more comfortable to me. Like, improv makes sense because, yeah, you have your team.
Yeah.
You always have something you can rely on, always something you can fall back on. Whereas, like, stand-up, it's just you and the mic.
Yeah.
And, like, everyone's eyes on you.
And if you bomb hard.
Yeah, right? Like, because in improv, if you bomb, you can at least sweep the scene. Yeah. And you can just be like, okay, that sucked. I'll try something new. But if you can't do that for stand-up.
No, you can't just walk on. Bye, guys.
Yeah. I mean, you can. I do want to try stand-up one day. It's, like, on my list. I feel like I need to just try it at least once, but, like...
Definitely, like, give it a go.
Yeah, I think I would give it a go. But, like, yeah, sometimes I think about it, and it's, like, the same feeling I think about, like, when I think about, like, bungee jumping. I don't know if you're...
Have you done bungee jumping?
No. But I'm not, like, a person that likes falling.
Okay. I've done a skydive, but I've not done a bungee jump.
How was that?
It was pretty cool. Yeah.
That's so badass. When did you skydive?
Where or when?
Both.
Oh, okay. 2018 in New Zealand over Lake Taupo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's a really big lake. Probably, I think the guy was saying it's the size of Singapore.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, I think that kind of cuts into the off-plan bit. Why was I there? I'd quit my job that I'd been in for 5.5 years at that point, and I just went traveling around Australia, New Zealand, like Asia and stuff.
No way.
Yeah.
Wait, that's so cool. So 2018, what was that? We were 30...
I don't do the math.
30?
What year are we in now?
20,
yeah, it's about 30. 30.
Yeah. I have a math degree.
I have an accounting degree.
So, okay, I was going to ask, so what did you do, so what were you doing for 5 years?
I was an accountant.
You were an accountant,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So you have an accounting degree.
I have an accounting degree.
Then you went into accounting.
Yes.
And then...
Which was kind of, timing-wise, I don't know when you graduated, but I graduated in 2009, and that was like...
That's when I was supposed to graduate.
Like, financial crisis, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Not a great job to try find a job in finance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were here, you were in London?
Yeah, I've always been in London.
Okay.
And yeah, I just did a bunch of, after graduation, I couldn't get a job. So I did a bunch of, like, internships, like, that claimed to be financial internships, but it was, like, one of them, it was for a designer lingerie company, and I found myself in a factory, like a warehouse-esque situation, sticking made in China labels on their lingerie products. And that was supposed to be a finance internship.
Stop it. Wait, that's insane. That's crazy. So I actually, because I didn't graduate on time, I graduated with a math degree with the idea that I would go into teaching. So like, I just didn't have a problem finding a job when I started looking for jobs. But I personally missed a lot of that, like a lot of like the peak millennial looking for jobs, there are no jobs out there thing. What was that like?
It's kind of soul destroying because you spend all this time studying, especially with like Asian parents, with all the pressure, you need to get high grades to do this and this. And initially I wanted to do creative things, but obviously that was shut down very quickly.
Very quickly.
So the fact that I got the degree that they wanted and I still couldn't get a job, it was kind of tough. And I was doing little part-time things in retail or being a teaching assistant and just doing whatever I could. But it wasn't what is perceived by the parents as the ideal situation.
That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, Asian parent pressure is a thing. And I mean, because I wanted to be a teacher, and even that was like kind of very discouraged. In the Philippines, it's very much like, be a nurse, just be a nurse, just go into nursing. And I didn't want to do that. I hate hospitals. And it's just, I'm not the medical field. And I wanted to teach, and my parents were still iffy about that. They were like, teachers don't make money. And I was like, well, I don't care about money. I just like want to be happy. And then I ended up quitting teaching anyway. So, but I did love it. I did love it while I did it. And my parents were like, my dad was a little bit more on board. They eventually got on board, but basically what ended up happening was like, it took me a little bit longer to graduate because I was like paying it off and working while I was going to school. So it took me a little bit longer to graduate. But yeah, like, you know, you don't really have an issue getting a job as a math teacher anywhere. What creative thing would you have pursued if your parents let you?
Oh, the thing is, I kept sort of bouncing around different ideas. I loved art, so I thought maybe graphic designer or something like that. And they were like, no. When I was even younger, I was like singer, and I was like, as I got older, I was like, maybe not. It's like, but yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I don't want to just do numbers, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's your family from? Where are your parents from?
So my parents are from Cambodia, but we have like some Chinese heritage as well. So I think 2 great grandparents immigrated from China to work in Cambodia, and then obviously, so it's like a mixed family.
Oh, yeah. Nice. And your parents came from Cambodia to
the UK. Yes.
To the UK.
So they so there was a war in Cambodia, so they moved over to UK in the 80s, and they didn't know each other. So they met in the refugee centre in Gravesend, and ta-da, here I am.
Oh, that's so
yeah.
Cool. Oh, wow. Do you have siblings?
Yes, I have a younger brother.
Oh.
Yeah.
How is the Asian parent expectation put on a younger brother? Like, did he have the same amount of pressure, or was it different because he's a boy, or was it different because he's younger?
I think it's different because he was younger. A lot of stuff that they would put pressure on me to do, he didn't need to necessarily do that growing up. He was like, yeah. I think also when I first started school, I didn't speak English, so I had more hurdles to overcome than he did. Whereas when he was growing up, he had me to help him with like homework or whatever. So yeah.
Oh wow! Yeah. So your parents only spoke to you in Cambodian?
Khmer. But because of our Chinese heritage, they spoke to me in Teochew, which is like a Chinese dialect.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Oh cool! And that's the only thing they spoke to you in.
Yeah, and then I got to school and the teachers said to them, if you don't speak to her in English, she's gonna get held back. Yeah. So now I just speak English. I've lost most of it. So I can say little things like with relatives on the phone, but it's very basic, like, oh, they're not home right now. I'll get them to call you back.
I like how you have that memorized. Oh wow! So that's so interesting. Sorry, I'm just connecting it to a lot of like similarities and differences in the way that I was grown. Yeah, so my sister was born in the Philippines, and then when everyone came to New York, and I happened, my sister, when she was young, so she came over when she was 7, and she basically only spoke Tagalog. And then when she went to school, she told me that she was like bullied and whatever, so she just basically stopped talking Tagalog. But my mom would talk to her in Tagalog and my sister would answer in English. And then basically what happened, so right around the time I started speaking, both of my parents, I think at this point, were like getting their master's degree from NYU, and working full time and they had 2 kids.
Gosh.
And so I think all of that was just too much for my mom to try and talk to me in Tagalog, especially when my sister was not like having it. Like my sister was like, oh, I speak English now.
Yeah.
So I never learned Tagalog. I know bits, and I can understand parts, mainly because a lot of like Tagalog speakers will talk in like Tagalog and English. Like they'll kind of
they'll
confuse
mix and
both.
match, yeah.
And so like I know enough words, plus the English words, plus just like context clues that like I can figure out
what's going
on, but with a delay.
They're talking about something else.
Yeah. It'll be like 5 minutes later, and I'll be like, the pickles are in the fridge. Like, I don't know. But as a result, like, I currently only speak English, which I do hate, but also at the same time, I understand, like, why my mom couldn't teach it to me. So interesting that you were born here.
I was born here, yeah.
And then, but only spoke...
Did you?
Did you? Sorry, I've never heard of that language before.
So that's how you say it in did you, but in different Chinese languages, I think in Cantonese they call it chiujiao, and then in Mandarin they call it chaojiao.
Oh.
So I know
when
people are talking about the language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it very different from Mandarin and Cantonese?
I think so, because I tried to learn Mandarin and I could not.
Wow.
Yeah. Because of the tones and things.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen, I mean, it's kind of the same in Tagalog. Like, if you, like, put an emphasis on, like, a different A, it's just a different word. So I imagine that's kind of what it sounds like. Oh, wow. Yeah, I only grew up around, like, so the neighborhood that I grew up in was very racially mixed, which is amazing. But because of that,
How did your parents meet? They met in Queens?
They met in Saudi Arabia.
Oh.
My parents met in a photography class in Saudi Arabia, as people do. They
get the dating apps.
Yeah, go to an English speaking base in Saudi Arabia. That's where they met.
Nice.
They were there for work. My dad was there as like a my dad's in computers. My mom is a nurse. And I think for both of them, it was just an opportunity to like, you know, gain work experience, but also just like kind of get out of the country. Less so for my dad, like, cause my dad's from London. So I think for him, it was more like an adventure.
Yeah.
Whereas like for my mom, it was more like, this is a way to get out of the Philippines. You know, this is a way to like make it to America kind of thing. That's how they met.
Oh, sweet.
I know. They still have the pictures that they took of each other, or that they took from the class. They still have the pictures in their room. Yeah. My dad with his afro, which he doesn't have anymore. Okay, so you get a job that is 2 hours away, but you do that for a year and a half.
Yeah.
And then you, I guess, get another accounting job.
Yeah. And then another.
Okay, so you're in accounting.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, cool, I'm in accounting. This is life. And then you quit your job.
Yeah.
Okay, so, walk me through that.
So I had been in the same team, same manager, even though different people in the team had moved around. 5.5 years. I'd progressed, got promoted, finished all my exams and everything.
All the stuff we're supposed to do.
Yeah, exactly. I ticked all the boxes, followed the plan, and then I was like, gosh, this is boring. Because accounting, every financial year, it just repeats. You just do the same thing. And I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I thought, I never had a gap year because I was too busy trying to get a job. So I'm going to do it now. And then because I'd saved up money, I didn't have to like live in squalor and hostels. So I was like living the high life, eating everything I wanted.
Oh my god.
Doing all the things I wanted to do.
This is in London, or at this point you're in...
Oh, like I'd moved, I can't remember the order of the countries, but I think I went to Vietnam, Cambodia, Singapore. In Australia, I did like Brisbane, Sunshine Coast, Sydney, Melbourne, And then when I got to New Zealand, I think I started in Auckland and then just kind of worked my way from the north to the south.
That's so
Yeah.
cool. How long were you out there?
Oh, a good couple of months. Like, I can't remember exactly.
Mhm.
But yeah. It got to a point where I'd spent maybe about 10 grand. And I was like, maybe I should go home and get some money.
No, that's still so
Yeah.
cool. So you're hopping around. You're like in nice hotels.
Yeah.
You're...
Or like visiting people that I knew that were out there as well. So like a mix and match.
Wow.
I wasn't just in 5-star resorts the
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
time. Yeah.
And were you by yourself?
I was by myself.
That's so awesome.
Which kind of leads to the relationship topic.
Mm.
So while I was in that job, I was dating someone for maybe 4 years at the time, and we were living together. There was talks of marriage and all of this. A lot of hints from his side of the family that this was the thing to do. And I said, I'm quitting my job. I'm going traveling. Do you want to come with me? And he was like, no. I'm like, please move out.
Oh my god!
It was just like, yeah.
It was
Just,
wow.
I'm just gonna cut it there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
I know. I think I had an inkling, like,
Okay.
that he wasn't my person.
Yeah.
But because you just kind of go through the motions, everyone around you is getting married, having kids, and it's kind of like, oh, maybe I should do that too because that's the thing to do.
Yeah.
But I feel like I obviously didn't want to do it. I didn't do it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh wow. If he proposed, do you think you would have said yes?
The thing was, he never proposed, but it was as if we were planning to do like, we were looking at venues, and I know, and I was like, but there has been no proposal, and we haven't told anyone, and this feels weird.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's not, if it was maybe like a romantic gesture, and I felt like it was more heartfelt, like there was some emotion there, rather than a tick box kind of exercise, I still think it would be no.
Yeah, okay. No,
I'm like thinking it in my head out loud, but yeah.
Wow. Okay, so it sounds like that's around the time where you were just like, oh, this tick box stuff
Yeah.
kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I
mean, it works for some people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think like most people in my family, like my cousins and stuff, my sister, a lot of them did everything on time. Like 2 of my cousins are married to their high school sweethearts. It's the cutest thing.
That's so sweet.
And I'm typically against high school sweethearts in general. But with them, they're just, both sets of cousins with their partners are just so cute and in love, and like it's like, okay, you found your person, and like I love that. But a lot of my friends, because those are younger cousins, a lot of my friends also haven't ticked off the boxes, which is why I've been able to do this podcast.
Yeah, the stream of people
with
waiting
just
at
my
your door.
friends.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I do have
Yeah.
friends that like did everything on time, like, you know, got married at like 26, 27, had kids by 28, 29, like, you know, is moving up in their respective fields. I can't remember exactly when it was. I remember having the thought, I just can't remember where in my life I had it, but I remember thinking, I'm like, is this it? Is this it? Is this all I do? I work really hard, and then I do this job, and then I just do this job for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, like, some people, I feel like when they have that thought, they go, like, and these are the people that become like the CEOs and like these people, these are the ones who like get into crypto, and like they're like, yeah, I want to break away from the norm, and then they start a YouTube channel and stuff like that. Or some people just kind of like succumb to it or whatever. I don't remember thinking, what am I going to do about it?
Mm-hmm.
I just remember thinking, oh, I guess this is just life. And so like, when I had that thought of like, oh, okay, so I find a job and then I just do this for the rest of my life, I remember thinking like, okay, well, I guess that's what life is. Like, I guess that's just like what I'm going to do. And, like, but it didn't occur to me to, like, fight against it.
Yeah.
Because I'm always constantly, like, questioning that.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was a thing about life that I didn't understand. Because I feel like I'm constantly not understanding things about life. So I'm constantly like, wait, what? Or, like, why do we all do this? Oh, it's just what we're supposed to do?
Yeah,
Like, this is just human nature?
Yeah.
Okay.
But, well, if you think about it, if you start working in your early 20s and now we're mid-30s, that's 15 years. And if we're going to retire in our late 60s, that's like another 30. So we're only a third way in our working career.
Yeah.
So we should change now if we really don't like it.
Yeah. Take it here, folks. If there's a time to change your career, change it now.
Yeah.
So are you still in accounting?
Yes. My job title is financial analyst, but I'm kind of looking for whatever that next thing is. I don't know what it's gonna be. I have no plan.
Either do I.
Just gonna trust the universe and see what happens.
I say that about everything. I'm like, the universe will take care of it. It's fine.
I bought a candle off Etsy and it's called Trust the Universe.
I love that.
I'll send you a link.
Yes, I love that. I love candles. I'm into crystals now.
Yes. There were crystals in the candle.
You see, was the candle white?
It was like purpley.
Ooh. Oh, I love that stuff. I think this is what happens in your mid-30s. Is you're just like candles and crystals.
Yes.
So you were in, so you traveled.
Mm-hmm.
So you broke up with your boyfriend at the time.
Mm-hmm.
How was that breakup? Was it like, sorry, bye? Or was it like, wait, what? Like, I thought we were going to get married, or...
I think he didn't take me seriously. I think he thought we were just having an argument and I would get over it and change my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So then he didn't move out.
Okay.
And it was kind of awkward because people at work kind of knew what was going on, and I think even at one point somebody said, why don't you just change the locks and chuck his stuff outside on the floor? And I was like, I don't think I can do that.
Yeah.
But it took his mum calling him saying, I heard she broke up with you, stop embarrassing me and move out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because our families are quite close. I think his parents used to work with my aunt and uncle in the Chinese takeaway. So they knew each other. Yeah.
Wow.
And now they avoid each other in the supermarket.
And when you broke up, because it sounds like you were about, 29, 30 at the time?
Yeah.
Were you worried about your age? Like, were you like, oh, I'm 29, I'm, 30, about to break up with someone that I've been dating for 4 years? Or were you just kind of like, was that not on your mind at all?
I think in my mind, I was weighing up good days and bad days, and I just thought the bad days outweigh the good days, so I want to choose joy and happiness. I don't want to choose like arguing and like it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Yeah.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of people don't make that choice. Like, I feel like a lot of people go, I'm 28, 29, like, this is the best it's going to get. Because a lot of people, and I'm saying this from personal experience, and like people that I know are like, no, I have to do this by this age. I have to do this by that age. And, for a lot of people that I know, it got done, but like, are they happy? It's hard to say.
Some of them are.
Some of them are.
Some of them aren't. I'm not going to name any names, but there are friends of mine that are not happy in their marriages. And they don't want to go through the pain of a divorce, so they just carry on. Yeah.
Honestly, I genuinely, one of the things that I fear in my future, or like, one of the things that I just fear in general is divorce. I already don't take breakups good at all. Like, I haven't had any bad breakups, like, no, like, bad blood kind of breakups, but I still don't take breakups very well. I hate them.
I mean, who does? Who goes, yay, breakup!
That's true. I feel like some people are just kind of like, yeah, whatever, like, done with them, whereas, like, have to like cry and like watch sad movies and smoke a bunch of weed and eat a bunch of food and just be really emo about it. And then I get up and move on because I have chosen to not live with regrets, especially when it comes to relationships. So I don't regret any of the relationships I've been in. I don't regret any of the breakups I've ever had. They've all been the right choice at the right time.
They were the right person at that point in time.
Yeah, right person at the right time.
Yeah.
But, like, not the person.
I definitely believe that. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on, like, relationships and stuff? Because you've been in a few long-term relationships.
Yeah.
And you're single now?
Single now, yes.
She's single.
Hi.
She's single and a financial analyst.
Correct.
and very funny.
Yay.
Put this on your Hinge profile.
No. I don't have any dating apps on my phone at the moment.
Don't.
The thought of downloading them fills me with dread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do it.
Yeah.
I don't recommend. But yeah, so I because one of the things about being single at this point in our lives, it definitely means that we are for a lot of us, it definitely means that we are not willing to settle. And it sounds like you also weren't willing to settle for to be in a marriage just to be in a marriage. One of the reasons why I'm still single at 36 is because I do believe that, like, I have a person that will, fulfill the things that I need in a partner. And I'm not looking for perfection. I'm not looking for, like, a guy in finance, 6'5", or, like, blue eyes, like the whole thing. It's not that. But I have a few core values that I want, and then I also, what I'm really holding out for is, like, just, like, this deep connection.
Yes.
That's
so important.
Yeah. I'm looking for I'm looking for a best friend and a partner. Like, a partner who's a best friend and a best friend who's a partner. And I'm not willing to settle.
I'm looking for the same.
Yeah. Because not everyone is looking for that. Not everyone needs that. And I didn't understand that until somewhat recently.
By doing the podcast?
Not through the podcast. Actually, through a lot of VMs with some of my friends, just like kind of talking about relationships and stuff. Because I have another friend she's a couple of years younger than us, but she's also single. And me and her are always like, why are we single? We are so funny and pretty. And it's something we kind of joke around about, but I think it is also something that we're kind of like, why hasn't it happened yet? And it's frustrating, but I also would rather be single at this age and be single until I find that person rather than find someone who I kind of like and it's kind of okay with, and they're good on paper, and we could have a good life with, or I could have a good life with, but I'm not like...
You're not feeling the feels,
the feels, the spark, the deep connection, because I feel like everything that I just said, so like, it would be great. It would be like, a lot of my exes fall under that category. Like, my exes are great.
Yeah.
If any of my exes are watching this, you are all great. Like, I have they were all great guys.
Yeah.
Great on paper.
Yeah. Hit
a bunch of tick marks, like, whatever. And they're all people that, like, if I had ended up with, I'd have a great life with, could have a good family life. They'd all be good fathers, like, all this stuff.
Yeah.
But I never felt a deep connection with any of them. And that's kind of what I'm holding out for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like you're the same.
It's the same. And I've become so happy with my own company that, like, if someone great comes into my life, great, but I'm not gonna searching for subpar interaction.
Yeah.
I think I know what I want, and if it's not there, I'm very good at saying goodbye.
That's so good. Do you find, like, okay, so are you dating? Like, are you going on dates?
No. So my last relationship ended, like 3 months ago. So not that long ago.
Okay.
And then,
was that like a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship?
yes.
Like you weren't just like, you didn't go just on like a couple dates, like you were like together.
It lasted for about 6 months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then since then I haven't been on any dates. Many people have been asking, am I ready? And I'm like, well, I guess.
Yeah.
But like, it's not hard and fast. Maybe I will try at some point, but I'm not that bothered. I'm like okay with like just hanging out with my friends, my family, and my little dog Rocky.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Dog mom.
Yeah, dog mom.
Wait,
Yeah.
no, I love that so much because it's really nice and refreshing to hear that you're just like, I like my own company.
Mm-hmm.
If someone comes along and like makes my life better, then yeah. But like until then, like I'm good. And I think that's really important because I feel the same.
Yes.
I'm in a constant, like, I don't know if seesaw is the right word, a constant balance battle, whatever. I'm in a constant state of mind, if you will, of I really enjoy my own company. Mm-hmm. I really feel comfortable in my skin. I like who I am. I like the life that I have. I like the people in my life. And so I need someone who can blend into that.
Right, because you don't want to exclude any of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have that, and then I do have the other part of me that's like, where, like, does this person exist? You know, like,
would you date in your friendship network?
What do you mean, like my existing friends?
Yeah, because then you're already integrated.
Well, you know what's really funny? Have you ever done the thing with your friends, with your guy friends, where you're like, if we're still single by the time we're 40, like, we're slowly getting to that age. Yeah. So, like, I'm like, damn, I'm going to be checking in with a few people in 3 years, which is insane to think about. But yeah, it's like, it's interesting kind of having both mindsets. Mm-hmm. Because there are moments where I'm sad about like not having my partner. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes I am just kind of like, oh, I really just like kind of want to be in this next phase of my life.
Right.
But because of like my stubborn, relentless unwillingness to settle. Yeah. I'm happy. I'm happy until I find that person.
So you're not unhappy that it hasn't happened?
I don't know if I would put it that way. I'm okay that it hasn't happened if that means that I get to find my person and ideally not go through a divorce.
Ideally, yes.
Yeah, ideally, like I find my person and that's it. Mm-hmm. Because there are people our age getting divorced already.
I mean, I'm quite happy never marrying. I just want to find a person to do life with, but I'm quite happy not marrying or having kids.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So are you more like, I don't want to get married and I don't want to have kids, or is it I'm happy to find another person and like let's see what happens kind of thing?
I don't think I'll pursue marriage, but if the person I'm with and I love them really wants to get married, I will happily marry them. Okay. On the kids front, I just don't think I want kids.
You don't want kids?
Yeah, so I went to a talk last year about egg freezing because apparently 35 and up, geriatric.
We're geriatric. Mm-hmm.
So you should freeze them. And I just sat through that talk thinking, nope. And there were people I knew that were there and they just signed right up, paid the deposit, and I was like, I'm gonna go home. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's great. I mean, I love that, you know, because some people are just like, oh, like let's see what happens. Some people really want kids. Some people, you know, like it's different for everyone. And so yeah, do you think that you're just kind of like, actually, I don't need those?
Dogs plants, good.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah.
Have you told your parents that?
Yes.
Oh.
And now the pressure's on my brother instead.
Oh, that's what is your brother following like the conventional path?
Not at the moment. No, I wouldn't say so. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So, but he's younger, so he's got more time to follow that path, I guess.
How old is he?
Gotta do the math. 33.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He's still young.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so funny though. I have some friends that are like in their late 20s and stuff, and they're just like dreading turning 30.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you are so young.
So
like
young.
You have no idea. You are a fetus.
We are in the approaching 40 bracket.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But you know what's crazy about this age is like, I'm like very aware of what 36 is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the point of the podcast. Like I'm very aware of like how society sees 36 and what society expects of 36.
Yeah.
And I'm aware of like kind of how I'm supposed to feel and blah blah. And I don't feel any of that. Like I feel so young. I feel like I have my whole life ahead of me.
I know. I feel like I'm in my early 20s.
Right?
But my body is telling me otherwise.
I feel like I genuinely feel like I'm in my 20s, whatever that means. I don't even know what that means, but I know that's how I feel. Like I feel like I'm still in my 20s, but I'm just not as dumb as I was in my 20s.
Definitely.
'Cause I was dumb in my 20s. Anyone in your 20s, you were dumb. Sorry, I'm not sorry. Dumb. And so I feel young.
Mm-hmm.
I feel so young. But I'm just like wiser.
Yeah.
I just like I'm backed up with like life lessons and like just better. I feel at my best in a lot of different ways. But then I hear things like geriatric pregnancy and turning 40 and like midlife crisis and like all this stuff, and like I hear it and I know I'm supposed to be affected by it, but it just doesn't bother me. I'm just kind of like I don't feel old. There's no part of me that feels old.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes my knees feel old, but like that's the way you're saying. But like I just don't.
Mahini asked me if I could do a back bend. I was like, no. No.
Sweet, gentle Mahini, who's 26 and brand new.
Fresh.
I like to end the podcast with advice to your younger self.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go back to when you had just graduated college and you decided to not do a gap year, like you said. Like your plan was to go straight into finding an accounting job.
Mm-hmm.
Which obviously took a little bit of time, a lot of internships. So if you could go back and give advice to that Sheila, what advice would you give her?
To not get so in your head trying to compare yourself to everyone else, because there were people who had the same qualification but just appeared more successful than me in that sense, because everything is kind of worked out. I feel like I can financially support myself. I don't need to rely on anyone, and I'm really happy right now. So even though at that point in time I thought, oh, I really need a job right now, it wasn't that big a deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, you have such a positive outlook on life. I love it. And that's so great and infectious because sometimes you get a bit bogged down with the comparisons and, X, Y, and Z is doing this. Yeah. And, I mean, to be honest, like that is a large part of why I started this podcast. It's like, well, these are the things we're supposed to do. I know a lot of people who have done them and who are successful and happy and like whatever. And I'm here like, I don't know what I'm doing. And some
release that.
And sometimes it can be a bit stressful. but it's also good to just remember, like, it's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Like, everything's gonna work out, you know?
Mm-hmm. Trust the universe.
Yeah, trust the universe.
Yeah.
Love that. Thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yay! Please come to our next ComediAsian show,
Mm-hmm.
which will be linked in the description below.
Yes, it will.
I have not done things like that yet.
Okay. Were you expecting me to say it?
I don't know what I'm doing. Like, what, you know, people in videos are like, click
like this.
click below.
Just press all the buttons.
I haven't, yeah, there's buttons, just click them, please.